contributing meaningfully in governance, leadership, and nation building. Please let's give a beautiful round of applause to all Blessified. John, take the stage. Please, I want to see your reaction. Your reaction, please, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oluwan Nifemi, please, can you help us project the slides as Blessified? You start now.
Please, can you confirm you can see the slides?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. We can see the slide. But I think you should just enlarge it. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Blessfield John, and it's a pleasure to be here and to give my 1 cent to this. So right now I'm trying to get my own slide to open it, aside from this, right? So it's a pleasure to have everyone here on the call, and I really hope you learn from, both from the experiences I'll be sharing and what I'll be teaching you guys theoretically. Yeah. So when it comes to public building, speaking confidence, you see, most times people think they were born with it. Some people were born with it. Some people are naturally bold. Some people are naturally confident when it comes to um, speaking publicly. But that's not true. Every, what do you call it now? Every public speaker or everybody you see now that speaks well did not just, grow up learning how to speak well, or did not just grow up, or were not born that way. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I mean, let's know. They were not born that way. So every single person that you admire today, let's say from the ones you watch on YouTube, the guys, that on YouTube that talk about public speaking, every single one of them, you know, they learned it. It's a skill to be learned. All right. So I want to ask the question now. So if you are there, you just tell me in the chat. So my first question is, now I don't want to believe everybody here is not confident of speaking, but let's just do this. So my first question would be, if you are about to speak or if you're being called up to speak. Now this will not necessarily be a speaking that is to a large crowd. If you're called to speak to anybody anywhere, probably in a classroom, what would be your first natural reaction in your body? Because today we're talking, my topic is the confidence trap, although it's about building public confidence, speaking confidence, right? Thank you. Although it's about building speaking confidence, we're going to be talking about using the confidence trap, and we're going to be using the behavioral science route here, because I'm not a behavioral scientist, but I have some interest in behavioral science and I have some level of knowledge around that too. Yeah, so what would be your first reaction? Let's say, for example, we're in the class and then I now said, who am I going to call? And I called Bruno or Uche or anybody to speak or to answer a question. What would be your first reaction? Just type in the chat. Like sincere first reaction. Just type in the chat for me. Hi, can you all hear me? Oh, your first reaction will be like, what do I say? Okay. I'll be quite taken aback. Okay. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, now aside that, let's talk about physical. I mean, like your physical reaction in your body. In your body, how will you feel? Like, what will happen to you? Okay, now so let me just help you out. Now, for some people will be scared. Some people will be they start shaking. Yeah, they'll be they'll be scared. They'll be jittery. Some people will start sweating because they don't know what to say. Now, so next slide. Yep. So in the next slide, so exactly what we're saying. So now why that happens is because your brain, things are in danger, and especially because, let's believe um it was unprepared for, you did not plan for it, it was impromptu. Your brain thinks you are in danger, and all of those things start happening to your body. Now it's natural, it's not pre-planned, right? So but because your brain is wired to protect you from, social rejection, and then you now start feeling like you are a prey, and every other person in that room is a predator. Right? And I don't know why the slide is not moving, but we're in the second slide, so please, if you're on the slide, kindly help us. Right? Yeah. So your brain start feeling like you are a predator, you are a prey, and then everybody in that room is a predator, and then you start getting scared. So now many people would never become confident speakers, not because they can't or not because they were not born that way, but it's just because probably, not probably, most times they believe a lie. So today I'm going to show you how psychology and behavioral science can help you break that cycle for good. So let's go to the next slide. Now, I promise you, this is not going to be a long session, but it's very impactful, I promise. Yeah, so the biggest lie about confidence. So most times, when it comes to building speaking confidence, we believe that um you have you have to be confident first before you start speaking. No, that's not true. It's not like saying you have to be fit before you go to the gym, right? Or you have to be knowledgeable before you go to school. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. So, building speaking confidence starts just like the popular saying goes. What's the word now? It says, popular saying that says, practice makes perfect. Exactly, practice makes perfect. So, building speaking confidence is just like that. Nobody stand up to speak with so much boldness and aura. Even the best public speakers still get nervous. They'll tell you, except they don't want to tell you. But the only difference is that that nervousness does not stop them from speaking. So what many people think is they think that confidence, they go with confidence, and they already have the wit to have the confidence already, and then that confidence will help them speak probably perfectly. But the correct sequence actually is that you attempt speaking first, even if you make mistake, because I tell you the truth, you will make. Let me give you an example. So before now, from 2020 to 2023 ish, no, from 2021, yeah, 2021, 2022, 2023, I was I was very invested. I was very invested in the poetry space. I was a poet, and then at least I spoke to really large audiences. And first, the first time I did a poetry presentation was in my church, and the crowd was like around 150. It was a youth church, so we're not like that much, so 150. So I did a spoken word presentation, and I prepared and prepared and prepared. I prepared a lot. Like I used 1 week to prepare every single day. And when I mean every single day, as I was walking on the road, as I was eating, as I was using the restroom, as I was anything I was doing, I was just reciting my poem, saying it again and again and again and again, just to make sure I have it in my head. All right. So on that day, I was prepared, but I was just scared. I was really, really scared. And then I stepped into the stage. I just did my thing. And I was scared though, but I just did it, and it came out well. Even though I forgot my lines, but because I was prepared, I what's the word now? I freestyled, and then I covered it up, and then it came out. So the next time I did it, so still the next time I did this presentation, spoken presentation, it was good. Good, 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 good. I always had good times, but not really a large crowd. Then one day I had to do a spoken words performance before a crowd of over 4,000 people in Lagos, Nigeria. Then I was not in Lagos, then I was not living in Lagos. So I had to travel to Lagos, and my God. So I was seated. Now, it was a long line of poetry presentations. So the people before me. So I was never expecting to be like one of the earliest people. So the very first person they called was Blessfield John. I was like, what? I was not. Who was supposed to be the first? You guys don't tell me. And then people were clapping. It was a large auditorium, so and I was not sitting in front. So I had to now go up to the large stage, and it was very big. So people were clapping, clapping, and I told myself I'm not going to run because I knew if I run to that stage now, hey God, I'll mess up. So I took my time and I walked. I took my time and I walked. I walked small, small, and I got there. By the time I got there, I'm not gonna lie. Let me tell you what
Sir, please, I can't hear you properly.
happened. Really, you can't hear me properly.
Yes, like your voice is fainting.
So your voice
Oh,
is not. I think you just need to like bring your speaker closer to your mouth.
can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, it's audible now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for pointing that out. So, by the time I got on that stage, I was my legs. Now I knew my lines. I knew everything in my head. My legs, like my whole body, was different from my brain. What I mean was, my body started reacting in a way that I couldn't control it. So my legs were shaking, like really, really shaking. Like I had to stamp my foot, and so they didn't know what was going on. And I started talking, and then I discovered that I was talking too fast, And by the time I was done, and then people were screaming, shouting, and all of that. I got downstairs. I was the only one that knew what happened with me, on that stage. And as time went on, I continued spoken words. But one of these days, I had not done poetry in a while, and then I was called on to do a particular performance, and I went to perform, and then I did so terribly. So I forgot my lines a couple of times. I did so terribly. As a result of that, I was scared. I stopped speaking. I That was how my spoken word career ended. I'm not gonna lie. That's how my spoken word career ended. I stopped performing spoken words because I was like, how can I make such a mistake? But that's the mistake people always do. Because you have a bad experience when you speak to people doesn't mean you should stop altogether. It is part of the experience. That's what's going to build you into becoming a good speaker, not the other way around. Because imagine I have spoken to over 4,000 people before, and then when I had to perform to even a much smaller audience that was, I think it was less than 100 or less than 200, and I flopped big time, and I was felt so bad. So I was like, nah, 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 that's the end of it. And I lost my, let me say, mojo from that time. And I remember a time came, I had to do a presentation to, not, no, it was not a crowd too, right? Like a little number of people, but it was a high level
Okay,
meeting.
sir. Can you like tune your volume so it will be able to hear you?
Oh my God, I think I have to hold my phone close to my mouth now. Okay,
Uh,
I hope you can hear me now.
sure, we can now.
Okay, so now this meeting now I had to do a presentation before. It was a high level meeting with like professionals, and I think the yeah government officials were there too, and I had to do this presentation, and I nearly messed up, but I was not confident in myself. Like I'm this kind of person that I love perfection, so I knew I did not do well. And then I was literally shaking. I was visibly shaking. You could see that I was shaking, and from then on, yeah, I said, no, 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 I'm not going to stop this time around. I'm going to continue. So I continued speaking and speaking and speaking. Now, right, if you call me to any stage, I don't even need to prepare. No, not when I mean prepare, like, I mean, I don't need to realize how I'm going to stand. But of course, I have to prepare my content. right? I'm gonna just go up and then I express myself, So you have to take that step first, that action. I'm a Christian, so Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So when you have to take that step of faith, let me use it in quotes, yeah, to speak first. Take the opportunity. Don't shy in class. Ask questions. Even if you stutter, it's fine. Who's nobody saying your daddy? And even if anybody saying your daddy, you should know that you're building yourself. So you take that step first, the action, and then the more you make the mistakes, the more you keep learning from it. And before you know, you become a very confident speaker, right? So confidence is not the starting point; it is the result. So don't think you have to be confident first before you start speaking. It is a starting point. It's the result, not the starting point, rather. So waiting for you to feel confident is like, you know, you're waiting to be fit before you get to the gym. I said that earlier before. So let's go to the next slide. So this is the confidence trap. This is how people intentionally train themselves to be afraid of speaking. Every time you avoid speaking, probably because of a past mistake, your fear grows stronger. All right. So let's look at this diagram. Your fear of speaking will make you to avoid, will give you, will make you to avoid speaking. And that avoidance of speaking gives you an immediate relief. But as you're having that immediate relief, right, your brain begins to learn avoidance. So for every single time there's a speaking opportunity, you become scared. So that cycle continues. Your fear of speaking leads you to avoid speaking. Now, because you have avoided speaking, you'll be relieved. Oh my God, okay, I've escaped it. Thank God. So now you have taught your brain to always avoid speaking opportunities. So even if you are smart enough, even if you know something, right? You are scared to speak because you're like, no, I don't want to talk. So that I don't make any mistake. So now your brain now start feeding your mind that okay, speaking is not for you. You are not a good speaker. You're okay. You are only good at writing. Let me tell you, you can be both good at both, right? So don't allow your brain to tell you you're only good at writing. When it comes to speaking, you cannot speak. That's a lie, right? So that trap gets a hold of you, and then you start avoiding speaking. In my year one in school, when I got into the uni, right, I was of course I know I was bold. So when I got into school, I made up my mind that I'm going to be answering questions in class. Is in fact, especially when I found out that in my school that you have a 5 mark for participation in class activities. So I said I was going to be answering questions in every class. Now, aside that, what I was doing was I was building myself to be bolder, right? Because I was answering questions in every single class and not once. So I lifted up my hand and I spoke. Now, people thought I was doing too much, of course, amongst your people. Yeah, this boy is overdoing. Every time, why you always ask a question? You, every time, you. Allow another person to talk now, as though I was holding their mouth, right? But the thing was, beyond that, I was helping myself. I was becoming bold. So that any space I find myself, I can comfortably lift up my hands and say something. Now, even if I was wrong, I'll learn from my mistake. Other than the person who didn't speak up. And aside from that, I became more confident to speaking in public. All right. So avoid that trap of avoiding speaking. Your fear and confidence can coexist. By that I mean you can be nervous about it, but your nervousness should not stop you from taking the action. Do you understand? Do you understand me now? You understand? Just give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're following. Your nervousness, thank you very much, should not make you to avoid the action. You go for it. You go for it. You go for it. Your avoidance will not solve it. It feeds it. Every time you escape from speaking or talking in public, or you are teaching your brain that speaking is something to run from. And over time, your brain gets accustomed to it. It becomes like default setting in your brain. And it will not be something you have to take extra efforts to break out from. So yeah, let's go to the next round, next slide. Your brain is just doing its job. That's why you're fearing. That's why your hand is shaking. That's why your leg is shaking. That's why you are sweating. That's why you forgot what you said, what you were practicing all night. That's why you forgot what you're practicing all night. Not because you don't know, but because your brain is just doing its job. So let me read the slide. When you stand before an audience, your amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure, scans for threats. It always tells the difference between physical danger and social danger. So it triggers your alarm system. Now that alarm system start making you shake, and your body starts responding. You can't really control it because it's your brain at work. So now this reaction in your body does not mean you don't know what to do. Your speaking is not for you, it's not your thing. It's just showing that you're a human being. Just the same way if you were in a position of danger, right? This exact same thing will happen to you. Your racing hands, your racing heart. In fact, let me tell you something. Have you ever seen where somebody was called up to speak in public and the person started crying? If you have seen that before, just give me a thumbs up. The person started crying as if the person was being beaten. Exactly. Or the person came on stage and then as he was talking, the person now ran out of the stage as if something pursued the person. If you have seen that before, let me just hear whether you saw it on the video or you saw it physically. Let me see it. Let me just give you a thumbs up. Person just ran out of the stage. I've seen it before. Person just ran out of stage as though something was pushing the person, or their village people were like, out, 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 out. You get. So now it's not because the person, did not know anything, or the person is that scared or has stage fright. There's nothing like stage fright, too. Let me tell you that. There's nothing like stage fright. It's your brain playing a prank on you. Exactly. The person cried. It's not you that is doing that in a way. It's your brain functioning. So in your brain makes you feel like the people that are in front of you now, or you're in social danger now, because you start thinking, if I make a mistake now, how will people see me? What if I forgot my lines? What if I do this one? What if I don't say what I was supposed to say? What if I'm saying rubbish? What if? So those questions you start giving yourself, you start forming your reality. That's why people even end up making like very terrible outings when it comes to speaking. So why don't you if your brain tells you, what if you make a mistake, you not ask your brain back, what if I don't? You get? What if you don't make a mistake? What if it's excellent? What if I spoke so well that people started clapping for me by the time I was done? What if I spoke so well that everybody stood up for me by the time I was coming down the stage? What if I spoke so well that people are just looking at me and nodding and they're just absorbing everything I said? What if I spoke so well and then by the time I was done, people were testifying how much I helped them with that speech? All right. So by the time you start asking yourself this question, your brain now senses that the amygdala starts giving you a perception of social danger, and then you start having shaky hands, racing heart, sweaty palms, start feel like running. That's why people start crying and all of that. So that doesn't mean you're a bad speaker. That's just your brain working. So you have to understand that you have the total control over your own body too, right? You have total control over your own body. You have total control over your own body. So you are the owner of the body. So if you start thinking, what if it goes bad? You tell yourself, what if it goes right? So stop overthinking in the negative, start overthinking in the positive. Just like, Faria just said. So there are two myths. Let's go to the next slide that keep people stuck. So I think there are four in this slide, but let's start with two. Like I said earlier, you don't need confidence before you speak. Confidence comes after repeated action, not before it. So number two, confident speakers don't get nervous. That's not true. Even seasoned speakers feel nervous. The difference is that they don't let their fear decide their actions. I've done lots of presentations. For every single time, I'm a communication student, in Pan-Atlantic University. For every single time I go up that stage to make a presentation as a mass comm student in school, I get nervous. Even though I've done it several times, and everybody, most people in class know that, when it comes to speaking, Blessfield is not shy. He's not a shy person, right? But for every single time, I'm nervous. I feel somehow. But what's the difference? I do it anyway, right? I don't feel like, oh my God, I'll make a mistake. Nah, far from it. That doesn't come. That doesn't come to my head, right? The two more myths. Myth three, I have to eliminate fear. No, you don't have to eliminate fear. The goal is not to remove fear. It is to stop letting fear control your choices, because your fear and your courage can coexist. So you don't have to eliminate the fear. Don't stop trying to end that fear. Oh my God, I don't have to be scared. No, just do you the way it is. With that fear, come up that stage and talk. Right? And this is beyond just the stage. Even some people are even scared of talking to people face to face. That's what I'm talking about too. So Miss Four, I just need to think positively. Now, positive thinking alone rarely changes behavior. Like I said earlier, you don't. I told you some people overthink the bad, outcomes. So now, as much as you're gonna overthink the good outcomes and say, I believe I'm gonna do better. I believe I'm not gonna make mistakes. That belief that you have and that belief that you have and that all those things you're saying, on the positive, side, they should push you to do the action, and that is the speaking. So the more you keep thinking that way, with that mindset, you go ahead and speak, right? You go ahead and speak. Don't hold back. And just to chip this in, before you speak, make sure you invest time into preparing whatever you're going to be speaking about. You know, building, this is about building speaking confidence. And when we're talking about this mostly implies a public speaking. Make sure you prepare effectively. Like I said, for the first time I did spoken word, I said I was preparing day and night everywhere I was entering. In fact, there was a day I did last semester. I presented a spoken words in school. That was like after many years of not doing spoken words. I wrote a piece. So part of my CA in school. So I wrote a piece and then I did a spoken word presentation after a long time. I was preparing night and day. In fact, the night to the presentation in the morning, at about 3 a.m., I was still preparing. I was saying my lines over and over again, even if I had known them. But I just wanted to make sure that I knew everything, because it was a dance, it was a performance poetry. So there were people on the stage with me as I was performing. The people also acting at what I was performing in a certain way, not every part though. So I did it over and over and over again. I got into my elements. I let it become part of me. So you must always prepare effectively. Effectively, please prepare effectively, so that even when your body starts behaving anyhow, because it is bound to happen, right? It's bound to happen, but you must prepare effectively. Have everything on your brain, so that even when your body starts acting, your brain doesn't get blank. Yeah. So let's go. The confidence formula. So confidence is not magic. Yeah, it is not magic, brothers and sisters. Every time you speak in class, in meetings, at work, amongst friends, you are collecting proof that I can do this. I've survived. I survived today. We can go again. So number one, speak. Take the action, however small, within your circle of friends. You know, just speak. Now, this is not saying you should be loquacious, right? But just speak, and of course, speak meaningful things. So the more you keep speaking, the more you keep training your brain. Your brain is being trained. Okay, you are getting better. You're getting better. You're getting better. Your brain is registering that speaking is not a social danger. So, and the more your brain keep registering that, you begin to accumulate evidences that replace fear with familiarity. And then confidence. Your brain now teaches your heart to be more confident and your mind to be more confident. So now you're not scared anymore. You're no longer scared. So that's the formula. You just speak, take the action, no matter how small. In a club meeting, in a group meeting, in fact, even in an online call like we're gonna do now, we're gonna ask for questions. Don't be shy. Open your mouth, and we're not gonna. I'm not. In fact, because this is a speaking training, I'm gonna tell you to use your mic. So don't just type when it's time for question. You're gonna use your mic. So you accumulate evidences, replace fear with familiarity, and that's how you build confidence. So to the next slide. Sorry, I was not carrying you along. I think we've been like 2 slides. We are like 2 slides behind now. No, 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 not go back. Thank you. Go back, please. Back it. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. No, no, the one that's 3 steps to break the cycle. That's where we are. Okay, so there are 3 steps to break your confidence, to break that confidence trap. That's all that makes you feel, oh, I'm not enough. 3 steps to break the cycle. That's where we are now. Yeah. So, number one, please help us. We have passed this slide. Thank you very much, please. We have passed this slide. Exactly. Thank you very much. So, three steps to break the confidence trap. Number one, understand the cycle. Recognize that avoidance reinforces fear. Awareness is the first step to change. Avoidance reinforces fear. So don't avoid it. Do not avoid it. Do not avoid it. Don't run away. It does more harm than good. Now, you might not see the physical, results, you know, at the immediate time, but in your brain, something is happening. You are culturing your brain. Your brain is being customized to think that you cannot speak. You are not a good public speaker. That's not true. So, step two, start small. You don't need a TED talk. Begin with a question in a meeting or a brief comment in class. So, start small. You must not talk to 100 people, or you must not wait to, address thousands of people in front of you before you do that. From the little opportunities, asking of questions, attending conferences and asking questions in crowds, right? Lift up your hand, even if they don't choose you. But let's say you're lucky, you get picked. You ask a question with boldness, right? So step three, repeat consistently. Confidence grows through repetition. Each small act builds the evidence your brain needs, right? So repeat consistently. Go over it over and again. Understand the cycle. Recognize that avoidance reinforces fear. Begin with the question. Start small. Then number three, repeat consistently. Then you don't need to become fearless. That's the next slide. You just need to learn how to move with the fear and not be controlled by it. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it is the decision that your message matters more than your discomfort, right? Your message matters more than how you feel right at that point. So, what you're going to focus on is the impact your message is going to make to your hearers and not just how you feel. So, every great speaker started exactly where you are now. The only difference is that they kept speaking. And this happens, in fact, across the board in everything you're doing. Everybody that you're seeing that is doing extremely well in any area is primarily because they did not stop, even with the mistakes that they had. So the only difference is that they kept speaking. Your voice matters. So start collecting evidence today. Yeah? So don't stop, even if you make a mistake. The truth is, you're going to make mistakes, right? Whether they are little mistakes or not, you're not going to stop being nervous. That's the truth. You're going to keep being nervous. But the difference is what you do while still being nervous. The difference is what you do while you make the mistakes. After you've made the mistakes, do you learn from it or you run away from it? Right? So thank you very much for your time in listening. I really appreciate the fact that I was able to you know, give you my 1 cent in this. Yep. Thank you so much. I remain blessed with John. Please, if you have a question, kindly answer. In fact, everybody should have a question, or beyond a question, you want to add something, you want to say what you learned. In fact, you should say what you learned. It's true. You should say what you learned. We're talking about public speaking. So, who's going first? Who's going first? What you learned, or a question? That's
All right, let me go first. Okay, I learned that confidence is the result of taking actions. That you don't sit and expect and wait to become confident before you can begin to speak confidently in front of people. You just have to take the first step and continue taking the necessary steps. You just have to keep speaking, and you don't have to you don't have to speak, you don't have to start small, or you don't have to start big by speaking to a large number of people. You can start with your friends, a small group. Just start small, then you can grow your confidence from there. And then also I learned that what else, that avoiding speaking or avoiding public spaces does not help you at all. Like it only gives you a feeling of relief, but on the long run, it becomes it builds a bridge, or will I call it, it becomes a bigger problem, which will become harder to overcome or fix than facing it head on right at the spot. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I'm glad you learned. That's very beautiful. Bruno, Fariad, are you there?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Bruno.
Yes, I learned that building confidence is a great step in public speaking. As an individual, you just have to learn how to be confident. Once you develop a level of confidence, you can be able to speak in a public. You should anything that will bring fear to you, you should try and avoid it. And confidence really matters while speaking in public. So the most important thing I learned today is confidence. Once you have confidence in speaking, no matter how many number of people you see, you can be able to address those people without fear. Thank you.
Amazing, 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 amazing right there. So the truth is, yeah, building that confidence is not done in one day. Building that confidence, building that confidence. Okay, Emeka can see your hand. Let me just finish, all right? Building that confidence, it's by preparation, and the more you keep going at it, even though you make mistakes, you just keep at it, right? Yeah, thank you very much. Over to you, Emeka.
Okay, I wanted to say Fariat haven't spoken yet. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Over to you. Over to you, Fariat.
All right, sir. Thank you for the amazing session. I learned a whole lot. And the part that stood out to me was when you said great speakers, great spoken word artists also started like me, but the difference is that they kept speaking anyway. And that really resonated with me. And it's something I'm going to be living out because I'm at the point in my life where I was confused like, oh my gosh, I actually want to go into spoken word artistry because I've always been fascinated by spoken words. But I've been scared that, oh my gosh, I've been scared of looking like a mela. But now I am going to go forth confidently. But I have a question. And my question is, what is your formula for answering an impromptu question without rambling? Because I find myself on the spot most times when people ask me to give my opinion on a topic of discourse, and I will be sometimes short of words, and I don't want to feel like that again. And my second question is, permit me to ask, how do you organize your thoughts when your mind goes completely blank? Like when, when everything blur, how will you come back into reality? Thank you so much once again, Mr. Blessfield.
When everything blow. Okay, okay, that's fine. So your first question was, um, how do you respond to questions in an impromptu setting? So now the truth is, like I said earlier, in cases where you know that this is you're going to say something about, you're going to speak about a particular thing, you have to prepare adequately, adequately. And another thing when it comes to speaking, you do have to know everything, right? So let's say you were asked an impromptu question, even though you are a speaker in an event, it is best to say, okay, I do have an idea on this, but you can contact me if you're asked by somebody. You can contact me. I'm going to get back to you on this later, right? Now that also shows that you are also human, because it's better to say that than to say, or than to try to show that you know and then you say rubbish. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Right? That's when it comes to an impromptu question. But beyond that, too, as a public speaker, you have to study wide. You have to be, ravenous for knowledge. You have to be a very studious person. You should know a little about almost everything, right? Right? So You should read why. That's just it. And then how do you organize your thoughts? When it comes, brain goes blank. Like I said, repetition. Yeah. There's this saying, repetition is the is it how do you say it? Repetition is the law of lasting impression. I think that's what they say. Now, this is not just about people, it's about yourself too. Like I said, when I say those spoken words, I'll repeat my piece again and again and again and again and again. You know that thing they used to say, you wake me up from the sleep from sleep. I should be able to say it. That was my pattern, or that is my pattern. I'll rehearse it again and again and again and again and again. So much so that literally, if you wake me up from sleep, recite your poem. I'm gonna say it off heart or at heart. Yeah. So in that times when your brain goes blank, I tell you the truth. If you had repeated it again and again, it is stored in your head. If your brain goes blank, it will come back like in split seconds. And even if it doesn't come back in split seconds, you'll be able to maneuver and you'll be able to cover up in such a way that it is not evident that you forgot something because you've practiced enough. Do you understand? Beyond maneuvering, you'll be able to fill up. There's a word I'm looking for, but it's not coming. You'll be able to fill up that space, that loop, and nobody will know that that was not part of your script, except the OGs in the house that have done it before. Because sometimes I'm listening to a spoken word presentation and somebody just covers him. I'm like, brother. In my heart, I'm like, this person just covered up right here because I've done it before, so we know ourselves. I'm like, that's smart, that's smart, that's smart, that's smart. So I hope I've answered your questions. Exactly, improvise. Thank you so much. Yeah. So you improvise. Thank you so much. So I hope I've answered your question. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Okay, so it's such a pleasure having everyone here. And I'm really grateful for your time. And thank you for joining. And I also want to assure you to continue joining um, every other trainings that will be coming up much more earlier. Thank you so much and have an amazing time. So, yeah, go and make impact when it comes to public speaking. Have a nice day.
All right. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Let's
sir, for this
show
very
appreciation.
impactful session. I really learned a lot on confidence building and speaking confidently. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. And it's not just about learning, it's about practicing also. So I would let us know that from tomorrow henceforth, we should always put ourselves in there and practice what we've learned today. Carry yourself to public area, ask questions, comment, and also even better still, pick up the courage to climb that stage and speak to the crowd. And I'm sure we are going to do excellently well as Fari had said, dismantle the stage. So yeah, so I've come to the end of our session. And till next week, Friday, I wish you all a blessed weekend. Bye, and remember to fill the form also. So bye for now. See ya.